Recording. Hi everyone. So this is Patricia, and she is helping caregivers in an amazing way, and she's going to talk about it in our group today in Growth Academy. I'll ask some questions from you, Patricia, so you can introduce yourself and share about your amazing journey. Um, what inspired you from childhood to pursue a career in caregiving, and how did that shape your approach to self-care coaching?
I am so glad you're asking me this because usually we talk about multiple things. And, from childhood, it has been so embedded in me to care for others. Whether it was in the neighborhood, I would help with all the little kids. I used to teach them how to read and spell and learn their ABCs. But I love animals and I love the older people because the older people, I always learned something from them. I wanted to hear what they had to share. But when the neighbors had, well, actually newborn babies, they actually trusted me to hold their baby and learn to feed them and things like that. And I was about maybe 7 or 8 years old. So it was an experience for me, and I was never scared because the babies didn't look little to me back then. What can I say? But that nurturing experience, it just never stopped. It just got louder. And as I got older, it was just natural for me to just be hands on in the most gentle way. And I realize how that gentleness is needed, but not just that. Over the years, within my own experiences with my health, I saw the need from a different level. It was on the other side where I got to see how important it is to be gentle, to be able to give, and to be genuine when you show the care that is actually needed. And I didn't receive that. So I knew how important it actually was to go even more into it, to actually share what I know was missing. And the only way I was able to experience that was by not having it myself. So it just changed everything, but it started way back, and I absolutely love it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else.
Wow, that's amazing. That's an amazing story. I mean, not many people have these types of stories, right?
No, not too many, but you know what? It is actually out there. It is out there for everyone, and it is up to us to choose it. And I believe that if we have it in us, it's going to flow naturally.
Absolutely, absolutely. What were the biggest challenges that caregivers face when prioritizing self-care?
I think some of the biggest challenges is that people start feeling guilty when they are making time for themselves. And I know because it happened to me. But the first thing we say is, I don't have time. I don't have time for me. I mean, I have so many other things to do. This can wait. And what I kept seeing was the same exact pattern. I was putting myself last. And I know that this is very common for caregivers. And what happens is that we tend to put everything so far back that we miss looking after ourselves until it's too late. And when you talk to people, you will find more and more that that need is so great for self-care, but we don't see it. And we think, I'm being selfish if I do this for me. I mean, I don't, I really can't. I shouldn't do this right now. And the truth is, do it yesterday because you actually need it. And when you don't do this, and I know from experience because I've lost friends to friends to cancer, strokes, heart attacks, dementia, living with dementia right now, who don't even recognize who I am. But a lot of these things we could have actually prevented, even for myself with my own health. If I had stopped soon enough, I would have been able to prevent certain things. But the good thing for me is that it was not too late. I was able to pull myself out of this dark, deep pit of trying to make sure I'm doing what I need to do. And learning to say no becomes necessary. It's not selfish. Will people judge you? Yes. Will they say you've changed? Yes. And when they say that, we tend to think it's something bad because they make you feel bad when they say it like, "Oh, Patricia, you have changed." And I'm thinking to myself, "Yes, I have." And I'm so glad I did. And I think we just need to have that feeling within ourselves. Yes, I have. And thank you for noticing that I have. I'm starting to care for myself so I can do a better job at what I need to do. And I don't even see it as a job. I see it as doing what I love. And when you love something and you want to give, it's impossible to pour from an empty cup. It doesn't matter what you do. I look at it as, I'll give you this example. We all have a cell phone and we have to charge it because we're using it all day long. But what happens when you leave the charger at home? What happens when you forget it one day and you have to use it? And it's running low and you're like on 10% or 1% left and you're thinking, I need to charge. You will ask someone who has a charger that they can loan you, even if it's for 5 minutes. So you can get a boost on your phone to get you to your next step. But yet we say when we need help, we say things like, well, I don't know who to ask. But for, the cell phone, we'll ask anybody if they have a charger. And if they say, yes, I can loan you this for 5 minutes, we'll borrow it. We don't even have to know them that well. So I think it's really the same concept. Would I leave the phone without charging it if I need to continue using it? And the answer is no. Do I need to replenish myself so I can keep being of the best service that I can? And the answer is yes. So how do I do that? It's not a selfish act. Make yourself a priority. I can't stress that enough.
Wow, I love your example. It just says it all. So,
You-
you mentioned that self-care is essential and not selfish. So, could you elaborate on why self-care is a necessity, particularly for caregivers?
Absolutely. I believe it's necessary because as a caregiver, we're not just doing one thing. Sometimes we're struggling with our own health and no one sees it. Relationships are being strained at home. We have children, we have a spouse, we may have like other loved ones who also live at home with us that we need to take care of, or we need to go and see them and make sure things are fine and be hands on with assistance. Um, so it's the health part, it's the relationship struggles, right? And then there are other things that you are just juggling. You have a job, you have a stressful job, and you're juggling multiple things. I speak from experience. I've been in the difficult relationship, I've been the single parent and worked not just one job, not just two, but three as a single mom. Okay. And the health issues that started to creep in, it became real for me. And what do you do when you can't stop working? You can't stop being a parent. What do I do? How do I do this? Where do I fit into this to make it happen? There are some things I cannot change, but how do I do it? I'm lost because I don't know how to create this space for me. I don't know how to make this time for me. And the truth is, the time is there. I have never stopped, and I wanted to show you because It's so essential. People say, why do you need a checklist? Why do you need a planner? Why do you need a calendar? Why do we use any of them? Right? People say, well, the checklist looks easy, Patricia. I mean, it's simple. It's like every other checklist. So is a calendar. When you purchase it, it's blank. All it has are the dates on it. You have to put in there what best suits you. And what I started doing was blocking a little time in the morning and a little time at night because during the day I simply couldn't. And I would just put my time, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now, did I have 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.? The answer is no, but I put it on there anyway. And when I couldn't do 1 hour, and I think we go backwards instead, we can start with 5 minutes. Then, when I enjoy 5 minutes, I want 15. Okay. Then when you get 15, you start doing a little bit more and say, you know what, I could do half an hour for myself. What happens within that space is that in life, we tend to go in circles. We're going like this, and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And all of a sudden, everything has spiraled out of control. And I know because I was there. And then you can't find your way out of this. Everything is going so fast that you are lost in the process. But once you step back and you start doing 5 minutes, it's like while I'm sitting down, I may do deep breathing, close my eyes for just a couple of minutes. And people say, what can I do with 5 minutes? I mean, it's 5 minutes. It's like nothing, right? The truth is, 5 minutes will surprise you. Just taking your hands and massaging your neck, doing some simple stretches. When's the last time you sat in your chair and touched your toes? Just reach down and just stretch. Just little things. And you say, uh, that's like that's like nothing. Keep doing it and see what happens. All of a sudden you want more for yourself. And then creativity kicks in. You go from being lost, I don't know what to do with 5 minutes. You don't even know how to sit down and have a cup of coffee. You don't even know how to sit down and eat your meal because you're used to always going. It's like I take one bite and I'll move around. And you reach that place where you say, no, I'm going to actually sit down and enjoy my meal. I'm going to enjoy this coffee. And while you're sitting down, you're like, you know what? I used to enjoy drawing and painting. I haven't done that for a lot. Things start to come to you and you go back to a place where you had dreams and those dreams are real, but we have buried them so deep. And sometimes we'll say, I don't have time for that. And sometimes it's true, we don't at the moment. But it doesn't mean that you could never go back and do some of the things that you absolutely love that you have just buried because you got so busy. So, my advice to anyone is prioritize yourself, your time, block it on the calendar, use a checklist. Do something kind for yourself every single day, no matter how small it is.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. I think you have a checklist to offer to caregivers who need help, and we will
Absolutely.
share the link below so they can just go ahead and download it.
Right.
Um, so I think we talked about the guild.
Yes.
Um, So you offer consultations where you tailor plans for caregivers. Could you
Right.
walk us through what a typical consultation looks like and the kind of outcomes they can expect?
Of course. So basically, what I'm offering is, and I don't want to call it a challenge, but it really is because it's challenging the person. And this is absolutely free. It's for 5 days, but we can start with just one. And for the consultation is basically I am listening to the person to where they are, what their specific needs are, because somebody may be healthy, but they have small kids and they're juggling a job or two. But someone may have all of these issues. So I want to listen to them, hear where they are, what challenges them the most. What's the hardest thing that they are dealing with right now? And it may be more than one thing. but we can start with one. And it's not to bring them from A through Z, it's to get them from A to B. And then we take it from there. So once I listen for the first time, we try to get a structure of what it's going to look like for the 5 days and prioritizing what needs to be done, how it will be done in small steps. And I think people are very afraid to face a lot of these things. So they're like, I don't want to do 5 days. I don't have time. You know what? Make time for yourself and it will surprise you because when you go back, and a lot of times we don't want to see what's really wrong and how to fix it. But if you don't fix it, you will never be yourself. So why not invest in you and do this challenge with me because it will be worth your time. I promise you. The outcome is that you will see how simple it is once you get started. Taking the first step is the most difficult step there is. Where do I start? Start with me. Start with the first day on that challenge. And I promise you, you will start to let go of stress. It will fall off of you because once you see how simple it is, it will not be so fearful. You will learn to make space and create a little time on a busy schedule, no matter how busy it is. You will learn to fit yourself in there because you are the number one priority to making things happen in your own life. Not just that, you will have balance, and that balance is in all areas because the rhythm of life is like a dance. And it's like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And sometimes it's 1 step forward and 3 steps back. And now you're out of sync. But the truth is, stay in the dance, stay in the rhythm of life because it's going to keep happening. And I want to help you how you can do this step by step, not lose hope, stay positive when things are not flowing as it should, remain as flexible as water. It doesn't matter what container you put it in. It remains true to itself. Remain true to yourself. Do not let life stress you out to where you are transforming. Remain flexible so you have a steady flow of water, what it looks like, what it feels like. I'm still fluid. I'm doing what needs to, and always make space to be flexible. So I'll show you all of these on how to remain that way. And once you're done with 5 days, you should be well on your way of how to get started, what I need to do next. And if you need anything beyond that, we will definitely talk about it.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So, like you said, taking the first step, it is the hardest. And like everyone can say, you are a wonderful person to talk to, and everyone would love to speak to you. And just, I suggest them to book the call and just talk with you, and they're gonna be amazed, and you're gonna change their lives, and that's gonna be amazing. So,
Thank you.
So you mentioned that you offer some free resources. Could you
Correct.
share more about what people can expect from these resources and how they can access them?
Absolutely. So these free resources are, one is my ebook, and it has 20 little topics in there. And they're simplified. In the back of that book, I leave room for your notes. So as you're reading, and it's a 1 pager, don't go beyond that. Just look at the first thing and jot it down. And I think one of them in there is I never have time to do it right the first time, but I always have time to do it over and over again. And what I'm saying is I'm rushed and I don't have time to fix one thing. But when it goes wrong, I don't have a choice but to go back and do step by step, which is more work. So I think these are things that we look at, but there's that ebook. And it's really, I put it there for actually for those who serve those with mind issues, with Alzheimer's, with dementia, because it's a different level of care. The truth is, this could be utilized for anyone providing care at any level, whether you're a mom, it doesn't matter. If you're dealing with your health, if you have 2 jobs, if you're juggling life and you don't know where to put yourself to maintain a healthy balance, this ebook will work for you just the same. The checklist, which is so crucial. We say it's just a list. Use the checklist to see what is the care I need to provide on a daily basis to those who need me. And in between, look and see, because there's going to be a window, there's a space in there that we've been missing when we're going in these circles. Find that little space for your 5 minutes, your 10 or 15 minutes, and include it in there. The other thing that I'm also offering is the 5-day challenge with me. All of these are absolutely free. And like I said, if you need anything else beyond that, oh, and there's also my group that you can join through Facebook. So you also have that. How you can reach me on this is through my email, DM me through Facebook. We can go to Messenger and meet there. You can join me in the group, but you definitely have access to reach me.
Yeah, the ebook that you sent me was so colorful and it was easy to use. And it's not like a typical ebook that everyone creates. It was really cute and yeah, it was really nice.
You.
So, last but not least, how do you envision the future of caregiving evolving, especially in terms of the role of self-care?
How do I see it evolving? Well, one of the things that drove me to put a course together and to get a little ebook together and look at my own life is that the population is aging, and there are 80% of women that are caregivers. And it dawned on me, who are these caregivers? Who are these lovely caregivers with no problems and no issues at all? Now, I'm being sarcastic when I say that, because when you think of 80% of women, and this is in the United States alone, probably, I'm not 100% sure, but in other countries and other cultures, women are more than likely the caregivers, but there are men who are also caregivers when the roles become reversed. So it dawned on me how necessary it is for self-care, prioritizing you first. And it's not about me, it's about what I need to give and the best version of myself that I can actually be in order to give this service that is needed. Also, I think it's very important that I need to know where I am in this role. It's like the GPS before you get into the car and knowing your destination. When you're providing care, you just don't walk in with the wrong attitude and say, I'm here. What am I supposed to be doing? You have a plan of action, and it may not go the way you want it to go all the time or most of the times. And that's why flexibility is so key. But if you know the destination, you're going to be looking at, okay, maybe traffic might be smooth, and then the next time it may not be so smooth, or something else is happening. So, or you may have to detour because there's a road that closed or it just got blocked for some reason. So that preparation to me is very key. So you remain flexible, remain calm to provide what you need to. But when you're doing it for someone with dementia, that role changes. It's not the average. It's not like everything else. So when it comes to that flexibility and being present at all times makes the difference. Using the right approach, the right tone, what I say, how I say it, my body language. I can't come to you, put my hands on my hips and say, so how are you today? It would be better if I came with a hand gesture and say, I am very happy to see you today. It changes how that person is feeling, and we're providing personal care for someone that is struggling to even remember who they are and where they are. So understanding that ahead of time will help save you from someone being very agitated, okay, very combative, which they can become because they're not sure of who you are and why you're there in their space. So if you can do all these things, and for me, I would say to people, wear your smile. Your smile is so disarming, even if we don't speak the same language. A smile says 1,000 words, and it helps the person that you're about to help that knows nothing about you. And even if you told them, they may not even remember. Enter their world instead of bringing them out of theirs. And it may just be for a brief moment, but if we can do that, it will help things go smoothly. And when we're helping them, don't say you need to do this, say we will do this together. It helps to make it a team effort. So I think navigating that, and we're going to see more of it because of the aging population. And it's happening as we speak. So to me, self-care is vital. I cannot stress it enough. Be the best version of yourself with nutrition, with fitness, with rest. But most of all, to put on the top of all of that is like the cherry on the cake is going to be the right attitude, the right mindset. If we don't have that, nothing else falls into place like it should. It's like the piece of a puzzle. That's the key piece. Keep the right attitude and things will flow, even if it's going in the wrong direction. It's only for a short while. In other words, ride the tide when you see it coming.
Wow, that was absolutely amazing. I could listen to you all day, Patricia.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for your time. So, anyone who wants to get in touch with Patricia, we have all the links below. So, you can DM her or you can book a call with her, get in touch with her. It's going to be amazing, we promise. And thank you so much for your time. Again, you gave us so much value, and it's an honor to speak with you.
Thank you. It has been my privilege to have you have this here with me because it truly means a lot. And I hope that we'll be able to help those that truly need it because there is a great need out there. And if I can make a difference, which is my aim, that's what I'd like to do.